SummerSlam 2019 can never happen again, because if it does, somehow we've got in a time-traveling device and we have traveled back before Sunday, August 11th, 2019. My point is, SummerSlam is done. It's over. Some people seem to really like it, and some people seem to be really mad, but as I'm learning, these people are mad all the time. I can tell you, hey, you won $1 million. They'll be like, oh man, now I gotta try and figure out what to do with $1 million. Before we do get into the crutch of the pay-per-view, WWE, you really gotta go out there and sort out the network. I don't know what happened this weekend, but it was impossible to watch NXT TakeOver, and it was really, really hard to watch SummerSlam because the audio ain't in sync. And I thought I would mention that because I know a lot of other people have been having the same problem as well. My name is Simon Miller. This is What Culture Wrestling. Let's up those downs for SummerSlam. The pre-show was actually quite fun. Not only did Drew Gulak retain his 205 Live / Cruiserweight title, but Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross did the same when they took on the Iconics, and when Apollo Crews had a fight with Buddy Murphy won via disqualification because Rowan came out of there and beat him up, as you would if somebody had accused you of attempted murder. But isn't it nice to have a continuity storyline on the Kickoff Show? Yes, it is. Plus, when Elias was doing his pre-SummerSlam concert, who surprised the crowd but Edge? Toronto's own Edge. They went absolutely nuts. And also, for some reason, the Rated R superstar was allowed to spear Elias, and I became like a proud dad. I said that on Twitter. On the one hand, I was like, oh, it's so nice to see you, Edge, getting this adulation. On the other, I was like, my word, please don't hurt yourself, Edge. I know that your neck is not great. Either way, though, if you did decide to watch it, I bet you had a good time. All of that is getting it up. SummerSlam started with Pyro 2. Wasn't that nice? It was like finally seeing an old friend that you're mad at deep down because they don't come around anymore. When they do come around, you're just so enamored with them and you enjoy their company so much, like, I'm just going to forget about all the beef I had. Plus, it meant that Brock Lesnar had Pyro and Goldberg had Pyro. Pyro just makes shows better. Therefore, it's getting it up. Plus, we then segued into Natalya versus Becky Lynch, meaning the Raw Women's Championship was on the line, but it also meant that WWE ruined my predictions in around about 8 seconds. Thanks a lot, WWE. Didn't think about my feelings there, did you? Up. The best thing about it was that because we were in Canada, Becky Lynch was getting a few boos, and because I'm a bit twisted in my head, I was like, maybe I'd like to see this man character as a bad guy. I think that could be quite fun, even though you're going to have to come up with the best storyline to turn her properly. And this was just a good old-fashioned submission match. It was a very smart choice to start the pay-per-view. Now he went to work on Becky's leg, including applying the sharpshooter on the second rope. And when she could, Becky was trying to work on Natalya's arm. And of course, at one stage, they both did the other person's signature move to the other person. I think that makes sense, but I am not 100% sure. And what I don't get about this is every time a wrestler does that, the commentators will go, well, that is such an insult. That is an insulting way to win. How is that an insult? If you, like for example, if Becky Lynch had managed to beat Natalya with the sharpshooter, doesn't it just say, wow, what a devastating hold the sharpshooter is? It is not an insult. Of course, that never ends the match, and what did was Becky Lynch catching Natalya in the disarmer, and Natalya felt like she had to tap out. So there was nothing special, there was no surprises, even though beforehand I thought there was going to be. But yeah, you know, again, start of SummerSlam, I enjoyed it, put a smile on my face. What else do you need? I do want to shout out Renee Young though, because when they were talking about all the people that had been training Natty before this, she then said, and now Natalya has come in loaded. And you have no idea how much I laughed at that, Renee Young, because I had this great vision of Neidhart just walking down the ring, absolutely smashed, absolutely drunk, and Vince McMahon being like, we really, really, really shouldn't have allowed her to go out there. I am in trouble. After this was a Trish Stratus promo. What? Hello, my name is Simon Miller and welcome to another episode of Nobody Talks Like That. Trish Stratus, you are absolutely a legend, you are a hero, and it was really nice to see you back at SummerSlam, but when somebody backstage gives you a script and it sounds like gibberish, you've got to say, nah, I don't want to read that, mate. It sounds like I've gone crazy because you said, for me, my light shines the brightest under the biggest spotlight. That would be the same for anyone. The hardest part has been the waiting to fight Charlotte Flair. Charlotte has been saying that the women of today are better athletes than when we were competing. I've learned that the pioneers who paved the way are often taken for granted by their contemporaries who have no idea how lucky they are. That is such a difficult and convoluted sentence that if you do actually talk like that, I imagine the person you were talking to looks back just going, it's like Kane in 1997. Thanks very much, Trish. But nobody talks like that. Next, WWE threw Goldberg, my dad, versus Dolph Ziggler into my face, and I couldn't have loved it any more if I tried. Give it up. This was brilliant because rather than Bill being the guy to spring on Dolph Ziggler, it was actually the other way around. So as soon as the bell hit, Dolph Ziggler smashed Goldberg with a super kick. He got a 2 count, and then he did it again, and he got another 2 count. And the thing is, you don't do that to Bill Goldberg because it really pissed him off. And then it was time to get down to business. When Ziggler went for the third one though, he got absolutely screwed by a Goldberg spear that was so good, it instantly has to be added to those YouTube packages that says best Goldberg spears ever. He took him out of his boots and I enjoyed it so much, I made that weird goat noise I sometimes do, like, yeah, because just like, I loved it. I loved it so much. Bill then jackhammered his ass and this was over in around about 2 minutes. I know some people are really mad and going, I can't believe Bill Goldberg built Dolph Ziggler. But so entertaining. I just enjoyed myself as if I'd gone to a park and had an ice cream. That's all I wanted, especially because SummerSlam wasn't even that long in the end. It was 3.5 hours, but stuff like this paces it out so much better. Dolph wasn't done though, and surprisingly not only called Goldberg back once, but called him back twice. And again, that third spear he did, boy, it was like he had absolutely murdered DZ. I could actually watch an entire pay-per-view that was called WWE Spear, and it is just Goldberg spearing people that are really good at selling. And on that note, let's definitely shout out Dolph Ziggler. The whole point why he was put in this match is because everybody know he was going to make Goldberg look like $1 million, and he did. So shout out to Goldberg for still being an intense warrior who I can't get enough of, and shout out to Ziggler for being damn good at what you do. And I know that's not the best thing in pro wrestling. Everybody wants to be world champion, but you provided me with entertainment here as well, so you both get a damn salute. This was just wonderful. The New Day then pretended that Drake Maverick was the real Drake, as in the rapper and the big Toronto Raptors fan, hence why they did this. And I don't want to be that guy. I am going to be that guy. I thought it was really awkward, especially when Drake Maverick went like wicka wicka wee wah, like we were living in 1997. Down. AJ Styles versus Ricochet followed, I presume, to act as some kind of antithesis to the last match that we've seen, and while it may not have been what we were expecting, I still got a little bit of a kick out of it. Up. Obviously, Gallows and Anderson got involved constantly, and that will give Ricochet an out on Raw later on, I presume. And while I think a lot of us thought we were going to see like a high-flying spectacle, we didn't. Instead, AJ Styles kind of grounded Ricochet to try and stop him high-flying, but then Ricochet would still find ways to do some pretty incredible high-flying spots. I mean, go and see the bit when he kind of flips out the ring, and then he jumps over Gallows and Anderson, and he gives AJ Styles a Hurricane Rana or something. It was like doing a puzzle. It was like doing maths. It was like an equation. And when it was over, it was like, I don't know what I've just saw, but my brain hurts a bit, but I'm still impressed. Also, nothing will be as cool as the finish. Ricochet went to do some kind of Phoenix Splash or some kind of flippy move from the top rope, and AJ Styles caught him and gave him the Styles Clash. That allowed AJ to win. He retained his title. Afterwards, of course, the OC got on there and they beat Ricochet down. I just thought this did everything that it had to do, and it did suffer coming after the Goldberg match because the fans were tired. But I don't know, I think it cemented AJ's heel character. It made Ricochet quite sympathetic. Again, he's got an excuse. I've got no problems with it. I saw somebody having a problem. What do you want? So yeah, it wasn't the greatest bout ever, but it was well timed, it was well planned. I thought it was a nice progression for a feud. That's my 2 cents. The Street Profits were then hanging out backstage when Ric Flair interrupted and they all partied down for a while. And I get it, Ric Flair's a legend, but much like the New Day segment, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to get mad at me. There's the comments, bald asshole, Thought it was really awkward. Down. And it's another down for Ember Moon versus Bayley. I know, I'm sorry, but yeah, down. I don't know whether the crowd was still absolutely dead from seeing my dad Bill a couple of matches prior to this. Maybe there was just a big knock-on effect and we shouldn't have put Goldberg on second. He does make people go crazy because, again, he is an intense tamale. But they didn't care about this, and the match itself was fine. It was decent, but it was kind of like something you'd see on SmackDown. In fact, it was so underwhelming, I don't even know what I can tell you. It finished when Bayley hit a Bayley to belly off the ropes. I presume that Ember Moon was going to go for the Eclipse. That's all I got. Look, go in my pocket. Nothing there. And it was kind of the same with Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon too, but the flip of this was, because Kevin Owens is from Canada, the crowd all of a sudden lit up, and I guess so many people just wanted to see Shane McMahon, get his ass kicked, me included. When Kevin Owens did kick Shane McMahon's ass, you were like, good, I saw Shane McMahon get his ass kicked. That's why I get to know. Elias was also the guest enforcer, which allowed Kevin Owens to beat him up too, and why that wasn't a disqualification, I don't know. And the finish came when Kevin Owens distracted the referee, and then he turned around, he booted Shane in the balls, he gave him the stunner, 1, 2, 3. Now please WWE, don't have Shane McMahon come out on TV and go, he cheated, I want another match. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants another match. It was just nice to see Shane get his comeuppance. Let's move forward. Let's move forward with Kev. Let's move forward with Shane. And that means take him off TV just for a little bit and do whatever you want with Elias. It doesn't seem to matter anyway. He doesn't wrestle. Charlotte Flair versus Trish Stratus, though, was all right. It was all right indeed. Give it an up. It was a longish match that started slow, but when the two got into it, I thought they started to pull out some pretty good stuff. And Trish looked like her old self to the point the crowd were all like, you've still got it, which again is basically one big diss. Because what it means is, we thought you didn't have it because you got old, but now you've surprised us and you can still do that thing you used to be good at. Nice. It was just really easy to watch though, and if you also watch NXT TakeOver this weekend when we had a great match between Candice LeRae and Io Shirai, these are the kinds of women's matches that WWE should start presenting to us. I don't mean that disparagingly, I meant they were just allowed to go out there and be wrestlers and tell a story. Sometimes WWE does not give people time to do that, and they did here, and that's why it worked. Charlotte Flair got the win after the figure of 8, and then Trish Stratus was allowed to stand in the ring as her hometown sent her on her way, which was very much deserved and very well earned. It was a nice moment. As was at one point, Charlotte Flair was in the ring and she was just kicking Trish in the head, and as she was doing so, she was shouting, "This is Trish Stratus, who is this?" And it made me think that Charlotte thought that Trish Stratus was some other different person, and now the real Trish Stratus had come to the ring. Charlotte was a bit like, is this Trish? Who is this? It was really, really funny. Randy Orton versus Kofi Kingston was great though, on paper. In execution, why do you do this to me, WWE? Down. In fact, no. Brown down. Orton was just a super dick throughout all of this, and he even hit a really good mid-air RKO after Kofi Kingston had jumped off the top rope. And after that, he went outside and he started getting in the Kingston family's faces. And because SummerSlam was TV 14, which it never is, I was like, oh my gosh, maybe Randy is actually going to RKO one of Kofi's children. That pissed Kingston off, as it should be. He was out there and they were duking it out. I was like, oh, there's so much passion here. There's so much emotion. And in that passion and emotion, the pair got counted out. It was a double flipping count out. It killed the crowd who even chanted how crap this was, and it was a weak ending to a program that had actually had some moxie to it. And I get it, they want to do it again. I mean, the commentators couldn't have made that more clear. They're like, oh, we've got to do it again. This isn't over. We've got to do it again. I mean, that was just way too transparent. And that's cool, but if you are going to do that, you have multiple ways. The best one would have been Randy Orton wins the belt, then puts that belt in Kingston's family face, and Kofi is so mad, he riles up, he gets all intense, which he did after the match anyway, because he beat the hoo-ha out of Randy Orton, and you could go on to that. Also, if you are just going to have Kofi Kingston beat Randy Orton up after the fact, so Randy Orton looks like a chump and Kofi Kingston looks like the king, just have him win. Didn't make any sense, and really, it was quite with a T on the end. It's almost like WWE knew this would piss everybody off, because right after this was Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor, and finally WWE understand that if you present someone to come across like a star, they will come across like a star. It's not just an up, it's a golden up. This was fascinating straight away because we didn't even know what entrance music Bray Wyatt was going to come out to, and as it turns out, he's got like a reworked version of his original theme, but now he also has a lantern of his own face, and it kind of looks like he's chopped his own head off. The whole presentation was a million miles away from everybody else on the card, and because of that, Bray Wyatt felt special. And that just continued on when they were in the ring, because Bray basically just whooped Finn Balor's earth. Finn sold the whole thing as if he was fighting as a ghost, and the Wyatt character has so much depth at one point, he flipped out in the corner and he started listening to his hurt heel gloves because he didn't know what to do. Of course, he is the Fiend now, so he listened to his hurt glove and he slammed in that mandible claw, but it wasn't a submission finish. He rammed him so strongly into the mat, the referee counted the 1, 2, 3. So it is almost like Bray Wyatt, the nice, children's TV presenter guy, is still in the Fiend's head. The Fiend wants to go out there and take the souls of his victims. Well, that's the Undertaker. So the Fiend can, take whatever he wants, I don't care. Better than all of this, though, was the exit, because the lights went out. We got that terrifying noise that had been playing when Bray had been attacking legends and doing all of that. And then he stood on the aisleway. It was just, again, all these lights flickering on and off. And he just turned his head. It was really, really cool. And sometimes WWE is not cool. It's giving me goosebumps now just thinking about it. So if you have no interest in watching any of SummerSlam, do your old pal Simon a favor and go and watch Bray Wyatt, who now really, really, surely by the end of the year has got to be pure money. Which brought us to the main event, the dominant Universal Champion Brock Lesnar taking on the absolute butthole Seth Rollins, who couldn't do anything even if he wanted to shave his feet. I don't know why he wanted to shave his feet. I didn't know what I was going to say. The pair surprised us. The pair absolutely smashed it. Give them a damn up. Out of the blocks, they were making sure to keep the fans on their feet because Brock Lesnar went for a German suplex and Seth Rollins landed on his feet. That absolutely surprised Lesnar to the point that Seth was able to get an early curb stomp on him, but only got the 2 count. That was the idea constantly at the start as well, because Brock Lesnar kept trying to German suplex Seth Rollins, but he kept landing on his feet. It was so well thought out. I was like, why have we never done this before? It is so simple yet so effective. That kind of just pissed Lesnar off, who came up with the best spot we have seen in 2019. And I'm 99% sure I actually mean that. Because Seth Rollins' ribs was taped up to sell all the injuries he has suffered over the last couple of weeks. So Brock grabbed him by that and just airplane spinned him round and chucked him in the corner. If you are booking a wrestling promotion and you want someone to look like an absolute tyrant, go and do this. From here, it was a bit of a traditional Brock match as he just waylaid into Seth over and over again until Rollins was able to turn the tables, quite literally, because he got Brock Lesnar on the announce table. He then got back in the ring. He then climbed up the ropes. He stood on the ring post and he gave Brock a frog splash through the table, and it looked like he had killed both of them. And by this point, the fans who had not been into it at the start had come alive. This was a fantastic main event. We then did get an extra curb stomp and an F5, but both of those guys kicked out of that. But Brock Lesnar was not kicking out of the third curb stomp, which means, yes, we have a new Universal Champion, and it is Seth Rollins. It makes no sense when you look at the story. He should have been so injured that he should have got in there and Brock would just gone and eaten him. But we didn't do that, and hey, look, the title ain't going to be held hostage anymore. It's not going to be kidnapped. We'll get it on Raw each and every week, which is what we needed. And Seth Rollins kind of rehabbed himself here in, 20, 30 minutes? I don't know how long it was. I wasn't timing. If we can just book him back to where he was a few months ago, everything was going to be all right. This is how you end SummerSlam. I thought SummerSlam, by and large, was a really fun show. Get that spinny owie going. We're going to give it an up. And of course now, who is excited to see where Bray Wyatt goes next? Do not screw up Bray Wyatt, WWE. He is the ace up the sleeve. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's SummerSlam. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read some articles about SummerSlam. Go over to Twitter and follow What Culture at What Culture WWE. They got stuff about SummerSlam, and watch more videos here on What Culture Wrestling. My name is Simon from What Culture, and don't forget to put in your calendar, in your schedules, tomorrow 2 p.m. BST is Ups and Downs for Raw, and Wednesday 2 p.m. BST it's Ups and Downs for SmackDown. And if WWE can capitalize on all of this, I think they may have some momentum. Color me excited.